Hey guys, it's Queen Elset Haru, and I'm coming to you today with another exciting edition of Ask An Aquarius. So I got a message from a woman, and she said that she's seeing an Aquarius male, and he expects her to be perfect. He expects her to do everything perfectly the first time. He gets angry when she doesn't. He's very impatient with her energy. And she wants me to tell her why is the Aquarius so impatient? And why do we expect people to be perfect? Now, I'm going to tell you off the bat the Aquarius is impatient. And we're idealistic too. So, those are two of the things you're running into. You're running into our impatience, which is something that we have to work through. And number two, you're running into the idealistic nature of Aquarius. For the impatient part, is something that you have to talk to him about and say to him, I really need more patience from you. How can we work through our relationship and you offer me more patience as I'm trying to be in this relationship with you? That's something that he needs to hear. You know, we aren't patient, so we have to learn it. We have to teach ourselves that lesson. I'm still teaching myself to be more patient. So it's a lesson, a life lesson, and you need to tell him in that case. And the other piece about feeling like you have to be perfect. The Aquarius is pretty idealistic. We have a vision. We have a vision of how things should be, how they should go, and we know that perfection is impossible. That's one thing you have to know. We do know that perfection is impossible, but in our lifetime, we've been able to come across compatibility enough times that we know that it's possible. So most Aquarius are really looking for not perfection, but compatibility. And some people mistake these things. They mistake perfection for compatibility. They're two different things. Perfection is the state of everything being perfect. Nothing is perfect. Only God is perfect. Only Goddess is perfect. Everything else is imperfect from the moment it's born, from the moment it's conceived. Nothing is perfect. So first and foremost, that's the one thing that we Aquarius do know that. But we've come across enough energies that have been compatible. Compatibility is all about things that are in alignment. Any of you who listen to Esther Hicks talks about alignment. They're just things that go together. They match each other, like peanut butter and jelly. They're things that just go together, and certain things don't go together. So what the Aquarius is looking for is something that goes with it. They're looking for compatibility. And if they're barking at you about not being perfect, quote unquote, or they probably are barking at you about something you're doing that they don't like. And that's not about perfection, that's about compatibility. Because whatever it is you're doing, they feel like is not compatible to their vibration. It's probably a turnoff. It's probably something that turns them off, or they just, don't like for whatever reason, and they would like you to discontinue it. And you're like, well, I need time. You got to be more patient with me. And the Aquarius is not feeling that. So you need to talk about the patience, and you need to work on whatever that something is. Because if it's something that you cannot change or do not want to change or is not going to change, and the Aquarius is very, don't like it, they're having a problem with it, that's something y'all need to seriously talk about. Is it a deal breaker is the question. Because if it's a deal breaker, you're wasting each other's time. So you're feeling imperfect, you're feeling beat up because this person keeps on asking you to change certain things. And if those are things that you can't or don't want to change, then you don't need to be with this person. See, sometimes we're just not compatible with a person, but we're not okay to just let it go. I talk to a lot of people every day. And one of the biggest things I see is people that don't want to let go. A lot of people that come to me are dealing with situations, they're dealing with people, they're dealing with men, they're dealing with women that they don't need to deal with because they're afraid to let go. But if something is not compatible with you, I don't care how much work you do on it, it's not going to work. Sardines are never going to go with peanut butter. I don't care how you do what you do. It's always going to be nasty to me. It's going to be yuck. If you take sardines and grind them up and put them on peanut butter, it's nasty. If you put it on in whole fishes, it's nasty. If you add mustard, it's nasty. I don't care what you do with sardines. They don't go with peanut butter. Okay? If you get me some jelly, you get me some Nutella, those things are compatible to me. I can deal with those things. So if you're in a situation where it's peanut butter and sardines, it's never going to work. I don't care how much you manipulate the sardine or manipulate the peanut butter. It's not going to work. It could be peanut butter with chunks in it. It can be peanut butter without chunks in it. It could be creamy or smooth or whatever they call it. It's still not going to taste right. So for a lot of situations, you may have somebody that's like, coming at you, expecting you to do things that you may not want to do or not even be able to do. And you have to ask yourself, is this a compatible situation? Or are you wasting your time just not to be alone? Because a lot of people that I talk to are wasting their time because they don't want to be alone, because they care about the other person. Just because you love somebody, just because you have a vibration with somebody, even if you have somebody who's a soulmate, it could be a strong vibration, does not mean you belong with them now. Does not mean you belong with them in this lifetime. I met a woman recently and she was telling me how when she met her husband, he was married to another woman, and she fell back. She met him at a festival. She met his wife too. She fell back, but she was like, this man is, oh my God. She knew from the time she looked at him, he was hers, So she stepped off. She, was respectful. And a couple years later, he was single. And so was she. So she approached him. They started to talk. They started to date, and they got together. Okay, so if she had approached him when he was married, it wouldn't have went right. It would have destroyed all the energy as far as it would have brought in negative energy. If she had approached him then, they had an affair, for example, it would have brought in bad karma and bad energy. But because of the fact that she was had enough integrity to just say, I'm gonna wait and see what happens. Finally, he was actually single and they could have a relationship. So things have to be done the right way, and you have to see if the energies are compatible, and it has to be the right time. Some of the time, like I said, in this case, it's not the right time, and you're pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and it's just not the right time. So in a lot of cases I'm seeing with people, in this case with this young lady here, it seems like the energies just aren't compatible, but people are afraid to give up because they don't want to be alone. They want to be with this person. They love this person. And I totally understand all of that. I've been there before. But at the end of the day, if you're not compatible, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. And nothing you do, if you guys are not compatible, nothing you do is going to change that. Nothing is going to make you more compatible. Nothing is going to make sardines taste better with peanut butter. It's just not compatible. It's never going to be compatible. So no matter how you try to push, no matter how you try to make it work, no matter if you try to change for him, he asked you about certain things, you feel like you have to be perfect. Let's say you get those things down pat, and let's say you're now perfect as far as quote unquote. It'll be something else, because if the energies aren't compatible, something else is going to come up later. So really look at that, because based on the situation that you're having, either one or two things is going on. Either you're not compatible with this person, or you guys need to have a lot of long, painful conversations about patience, commitment, and moving forward. Okay? So I just want you to know that nobody is perfect. Nobody in the cosmos is perfect. Okay? But there are more compatible energies than others. And just because one of the things she said to me in this conversation, she said that she felt like this man was her soulmate. But I told y'all in my soulmate video, not all soulmates are going to be together. Some soulmates come just to help you grow. They come to teach you a lesson. And sometimes it's an ugly lesson. Sometimes it's a really ugly lesson that makes you grow, that makes you change, that helps you learn. Just because somebody's your soulmate does not mean you're going to be with them. And that's one thing I think people need to realize, because I hear this a lot. People say to me all the time, oh, this one's my soulmate, that one's my soulmate. And I'm like, you do realize you have more than one soulmate. And you do realize that some of them are not going to be your life partner. Sometimes your soulmate is a fat, ugly teacher with a bad attitude. Sometimes your soulmate is somebody that you cannot be with. But the lesson they teach you is very valuable. My soulmate was ugly. The whole situation was ugly. But, well, that one anyway. But it changed my whole life. If it wasn't for that ugly soulmate, I wouldn't be sitting there talking to y'all right now. So I want you guys to remember that just because a vibration is really strong with another person does not mean you belong in a relationship with that person. It does not mean that. And a lot of people think that. They'll be like, oh, this person is my soulmate. And I'm on the other line like, but they stole your car, ran up your credit, cussed out your mama, and emptied your bank account. But this person is your soulmate? Okay, maybe they are your soulmate, but they're toxic and dysfunctional and it's time for you to move on. Maybe they are. Maybe they are your soulmate. Maybe they have come to this earth to teach you some very valuable lessons. Because the things that have happened are very valuable lessons to learn. But that doesn't mean you got to keep putting up with their crap because you think they're your soulmate. Some of the times you just need to get the lesson and move on. And how do you know when it is one of those times? Because the relationship is dysfunctional. The relationship is abusive. The relationship is negative. If your relationship is like that, if they're your soulmate or not, you have to move on. Because the longer you hang in there thinking, oh, this is going to get better, this is going to be okay, the more you're opening yourself up to being victimized by this person. And nobody wants to be a victim. And like I said earlier, some of you do this because you're afraid to move on. You're afraid to be alone. Why? You came into this world alone and you're going to leave it alone too. Sometimes you have to be alone to get yourself together. If you are broken and hurting and desperate and going through whatever you're going through, it's usually not the right time to start a relationship. That's the time to work on yourself. That's the time to be alone. Some of the people that are talking to me, it's clear to me that they need to be alone. They need to work on themselves. But they're so busy focused on this man, focused on this woman. They're so busy focused on this other person that they're not working on themselves. If you are in a situation like this, you have to step back and work on yourself. Everything else can come later. You are first. You are most important. And as long as your vibration is funky, the kind of energies you draw towards you are going to be other funky individuals, other negative individuals, other messed up individuals. So think about that. Think about where you are, because maybe you need to be alone for a little while, and that's okay. Our culture is always encouraging us to couple, and it's wonderful. Love is wonderful. Sex is wonderful. But if you're in a bad space, dating is not the move to make. Healing is the first move to make. So think about that, guys. Think about where you are emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Are you really even in the right place to add someone to your life? Because one of the things I noticed about myself was I've been dating off and on since I was like 12 or 13 years old. I was like, trying to date, liking some boy, liking some girl all my life. But I wasn't really ready to be with another person. I wasn't really ready to compromise and really ready to have a life with another person. It's just been the last couple years. I'm 41. I think I've been ready since I was like 36 or something like that. I was older by the time I was really ready, and I had been attempting it all that time, and I wasn't ready. And a lot of the people that are talking to me, as they're speaking to me, I'm realizing they're not ready. They're not ready, and they're drawing to them people who are not ready. And so they're focusing on this person who's not ready and hurting themselves over and over and over again. And I see it every time. And I'm just like, don't do that to yourself. Okay? So that's my talk on compatibility versus perfection. Nobody's perfect. Don't even consider it. Don't even wait for it. If you're waiting for perfection, you're wasting your time. Just look for somebody who's compatible. Look for somebody whose peanut butter goes along with your jelly. Okay? See you later.